I'm Janet Wright. I'm with the Woodstock Quilt Guild. I'm the editor of the newsletter, and through the newsletter we're doing the Purge. So for December, I thought I'd take it easy on you, seeing it is Christmas and everything, and I thought we'd just do a small thing for this month. So what we're going to do is we're going to do sharp, pointy things. So that's going to include your scissors, your cutters, your needles, your pins, pin cushions, and we're also going to throw thread in there just so that you have a little something to do. Also, we're going to go over your cutting station. We're going to have a look at what the correct body width. We're going to look at what height that should be so that you don't hurt your back, because we do cut quite a bit. And that's what we're going to do this month. So first of all, what I want you to do is I want you to go around and I want you to gather all your scissors, your rotary cutters, your needles, that's your machine needles and your hand needles, then your pins, your pin cushions, and your thread. Now, thread might not be a good place to gather. Maybe you already have it together. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at each of these items. I'm going to show you what I found. Okay, so I went around and I gathered up the items that I told you to go gather. So this is what I have for rotary cutters, and I found one brand new one of these ones, but I left it where it was. This is what I have for pins. I think I have more. I'm going to go digging, but I think that's mostly it. I have a thing for scissors, as you can tell, so there's the scissors. This is what I have for needles. These needles stay in my sewing machine, so I kept them together. These are my picker outers, as you can tell. So, and this is the rest of my needles. I keep them in a bag, and I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look these all over. This I love, these I love. Probably can get rid of them, and I don't know what I have for that. So those are going to go. Purge, and we're going to keep the good ones. The rotary cutters, I'm going to keep them all. They all have a particular use. One of these is paper, and one of them is not. One of them is kind of an extra, so I'm going to hang on to all those. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look at my scissors. Okay, those are big scissors, and so are those. So they might be good for big things. These two stay in my sewing kit. I'm keeping those. I have a thing for these. I have like these yellow handles, so I'm definitely keeping them. These ones here, I keep on my ironing board. And so what I did is I came over here and I made a spot for my ironing board, and they're going to live there now. So we're going to leave them there. These ones here, I'm not going to use. I'm going to get rid of them. And I went around and I checked these all, and you see how these are supposed to be spring loaded, and they're not. So I'm going to get rid of them too. So those and those are gone. This is gone because I would never use that. So I've already got it narrowed down to quite a few. So what I did is I decided that there were some of these I'm not going to use all the time, so I had to have a place for them. So on the bottom of my cutting spot has holes, and that's where these live. So that's not a big deal. Continue on. I only have a handful of pins. They live over here. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's where all my sewing stuff is. So then I got looking at these big scissors and decided I don't really know what to do with them. So I went to the dollar store and I bought this. And this is a magnetic strip. I put it on the wall, and now they live there. And the extra little ones that I don't use a whole lot, I put them up there as well. So that's a really good idea, and then at least I know where they are. So while you're going through this stuff for your scissors and your rotary cutters, do your tools function? Do you like them? I had a cutter over there that I didn't like. I got rid of it before we even started the purge. It was some kind of weird sideway cutter, and I got rid of that. So do they function? Are they tools that you use? Put them together, go through them, and keep them where you use them. Don't leave your rotary cutters over on your ironing station or by your sewing machine, because you're not going to use them there. So you're going to want to keep them with your mat and your rulers so that you can use them. Needles and pins. They don't take up much space, do they? But we need to go through them. Some of them are straight, some of them are bent. Luckily, I don't really like pins that much, so I had a very limited amount. But previously, I did have some that I got rid of before. Don't keep cheap ones if they're not sharp. Get rid of them. I want you to go through them and make sure that you're happy with what you're going to be keeping. Also, your needles and pins, you probably, the needles for your sewing machine should be near your sewing machine, if that's possible. I showed you what I had, 3 or 4 sets of needles that I keep right by my machine so that if I need them, I can have them. And then the bag has the rest of them as well as any kind of hand needles. So I want you to go through that. I want you to clean out the unwelcome, the unwanted, and the no longer needed. I love that. That's so cool. So pin cushions. How many do you need? I do have one more that I didn't show you that's on my thread catcher, but that's okay. That doesn't move. How many do you need? I want you to organize your pin cushions. Some people collect them, and if that's your thing, that's okay. But I want to make sure that they're in a spot that is dedicated and they don't take up any more room than what you have for the dedicated space. Anything that's bent or rusty, take it out. And then thimbles. Thimbles fall under this as well. I only have a couple. I really like it, so I didn't have to bother with that. But if you do have thimbles, are they comfy? Now, the next thing that we're going to do is thread, because thread goes along with needles. Now, I have a pretty good system that I find works for me. Lots of people wouldn't like it. I have my thread separated out into bags, and I'll come show you. So I like the ideas of keeping them in bags, especially because if I'm looking for a certain color, then I can just look through the bag and it's clear and it's really easy. So here's how I do mine. I use mostly cotton thread, so I have the cotton thread in this bag. And as you can see, if I'm looking for pink, then I can see that, I can see that, I can squish it up, no problem, and it stays in a drawer. But I also have other thread. That's the one I use the most. I have all my polyester thread in a separate bag. I have my decor or my specialty thread, the stuff that's shiny that I used to use a lot for applique and quilting. I have that in this one. And then this one over here is, I don't know what it is. Let's read. Oh, it's my sulky, so it's also going to be specialty thread. I do have a couple other bags here of specialty thread and some spaghetti thread. So luckily for me, I have enough room in here that this is where my thread stays, and there is enough room for that. So I'm going to be happy with how I keep my thread, and for now, that's how I'm going to do it. I did just buy a serger though. That's going to be a problem already. The thread that I just showed you, I probably have that much of serger thread already, and some of it's no good. So right now I'm keeping it in bags, but it's in another bag and it's big, so I'm going to have to come up with either a space for that, because as of right now I do not have, or some other method of keeping it clean and keeping it dust free. The bags will work for now. So threads, you know, they do disintegrate. So if you have thread that is really old, have a look through your thread and see if it's all still good, because you don't want to be putting all that time and energy into a project with thread that's not going to work out for you. I want you to throw away that old thread. I want you to let it go. Thread is one of the cheapest parts of quilting, and we should be making sure that we have a pretty good quality thread, because if something happens to said thread, then it's just going to all fall apart. Decide on how much space. That's a hard one, but that capacity and functionality, that's what we have to look at. Oh, and you know what also goes with thread? Bobbins. So do you have a good storage for your bobbins? I have these little wheels. And my bobbins fit on them. I have one white, one black, and then I have a few other colors, but I try to keep my bobbins pretty minimal. So make sure that you can go through all that. So the other thing that we're going to do this month is we're going to have a look at your cutting station as well. What is the correct height? Is yours at the correct height? Let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is my cutting station right here. As you can see, I have a big mat. I'm lucky I have a dedicated space for my cutting. So what is the correct height? As we know, we did the ironing station last time. We're going to do the cutting station this time, and it's a different measurement. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand, and if you're really lucky and you got somebody that can, you're going to measure from the bottom of your elbow, standing up straight, down to your cutting area right here. The magic number is 6 inches. So I tried mine. Oh, by the way, my ironing station was way too high. I had to lower it last month. So if I stand here, because nobody's here to help me, I go down to the bottom of my elbow, I'm pretty much close to 6 inches, so I'm pretty happy with that. So 6 inches from your elbow down, that'll give you lots of room, and it all has to do with reaching. So we don't reach at our pressing table, but we reach because we're doing full cuts. So 6 inches below will make it for a healthy back. So that's all I've got for you this month. I'd like you to have a Merry Christmas And we're going to do fabric next month, and it's scaring the crap out of me. So don't let the squirrels get you. Get all them sharp things looked after, and I'll see you next year and next month.